All right, in this short instructional video, I'm going to try to catch you up on the historical description of the civil rights movement, which you've had a little bit of exposure to, into the Black Power movement, because this lesson is all about language and the power of language. And these two movements were fighting for very similar things, but using different language. And the author, Reynolds, argues that some of this fits into assimilationist thinking, like you should be a certain way in order to belong or get what you want, versus anti-racist thinking, where the people are not the problem, but racism is the problem. So just want to show you this couple of quick examples. So in chapter 21, the authors say the shift from civil rights to Black Power went from fighting for civil rights, which are like your ability to be in a certain place, to be a part of a organization, to fighting for freedom. The difference between the two is simple. One implies a fight for fairness, the other a right to live. So sort of the shift from like, hey, that's not fair, everyone should be included, to a little bit further, like maybe that they were saying the right to live, like African Americans shouldn't have to argue for their right to be included. They should just be respected and treated as humans who are powerful and important as well. So this shift, I wanted to show you a short clip. This is Martin Luther King actually being interviewed. So Martin Luther King, right, really strong civil rights leader, really, really strong advocate of using nonviolence. These are some photos of the movements that he led. So there was a lot of marching with strong messages, I am a man. They were protesting basic segregation. And so they would sometimes, like Rosa Parks was a part of this movement, they would sit on buses or boycott buses until they were desegregated. They were desegregating schools. But they were also facing a lot of intense responses, right? So churches were bombed. When people were trying to integrate like swimming pools, people used chemicals like acid. People were put in jail. Fire hoses were used. People were arrested. So in response to this nonviolent movement, there was a lot of violence. And another member of Black movements for civil rights named Malcolm X came along, and he said, hey, I don't know if we can do nonviolence anymore. I think we need something else, something stronger to fight back. So I'm going to play you this short clip.
One of the most articulate and saying from your movement and your philosophy that it plays into the hand of white talking about something very specific. They could kill non-resistant
All right, so the debate that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King are having is about does this just make people comfortable? Does it reinforce stereotypes about African Americans as meek, as they use the word supine, like willing to be treated as less than? So the other thing when we were talking about increased amounts of violence that people are facing is in just 1 year, many people who are part of the civil rights movement were killed. In Birmingham, there was a black church that was bombed and 4 little girls were killed. The first civil rights activist in Jackson, Mississippi, gets killed in 1963, and then JFK is assassinated. He was verbally promoting civil rights. And then in 1964, 3 more people who were part of the civil rights movement were killed in the South. So this kind of added to the pressure that a lot of people were feeling of we need to do something else to continue to fight racism. And so there's a chapter summary of chapter 21 that'll kind of help you lead into the language that we're discussing in chapter 22. And I just want you to read over the chapter summary and see either in the video I just showed you where Malcolm X's concerns about Martin Luther King's movement are being discussed, or in the chapter summary, where do you hear concerns about like assimilationist thinking? Like, if you want to get rights, you have to act this certain way or be this certain way. And then one of the first pieces of anti-racist legislation or laws, the Voting Rights Act, gets passed. So what is anti-racist about that?